Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Gold Factor Summon Your Greatness podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette Gold, here to shake up your day with a little splash of extraordinary. We're all about flipping the script here at the Gold Factor on what you thought was possible. I want you to think of it as your personal playbook for transforming the ordinary into the absolute extraordinary. Today on the Gold Factor, we are diving into what it takes to create balance for optimal health. And I'm going to share my personal journey with you, personal journey with health and balancing my own body using cutting edge alternative therapies like biomagnetism therapy, Rife Therapy with plasma, Scalar Energy, and then my detox strategies to combat pH imbalances. It's all about summoning your inner greatness by harnessing the power of balance in your body. So, are you ready to transform your health narrative? I hope so. Let's dive in. So, today I want to share with you some of the amazing things that have been happening, and I'm even going to share some pictures with you as well, if I can get them up on the screen. This past weekend, I went to an advanced biomagnetism training. Some of you know I'm a biomagnetism practitioner. I also do other alternative health stuff and have since 2000. But biomagnetism has been a game changer in my practice, in my health, with my family. We were supposed to have this week an interview with Dr. Garcia, who's like the leading US biomagnetism trainer. And I can't recommend him enough, but because he was on another podcast, we rescheduled the airing of this one that he's on for 3 weeks from now. So it'll be, I think, March 6th. So you guys will have to be patient. He has a lot to say. That it's a really great interview. And I think for any of you that have questions about how you can reclaim your health, that's a great episode for you. But today I'm going to share my personal journey because I had to fill in an episode. But a lot of you have asked. I put a poll up on social media and everyone's like, yes, share what happened. Because during our training, the last day, I had the great honor and privilege of having a full session done with Dr. Garcia. And it went way beyond, I think, time-wise, what I was expecting, and probably what a lot of other people are expecting that were in the class. But he did a comprehensive scan on the imbalances in my body, and it took 4.5 hours. Some of the things that happened were just off the chain, phenomenal. And I can't tell you. So I'm going to show you some pictures for those of you who are watching the stream for the podcast. You get to see the pictures. For those of you who are listening to the podcast as it airs, you can always go to my Facebook, which is The Gold Factor, or you can go to YouTube, The Gold Factor, and watch the video and you can see the pictures. But I am going to share them with you because I think there's a lot to be, let's just say there's a lot to be gleaned from what has happened. And it's my way of showing you guys what has happened. And there are some people I know that are going to be watching this that were at that training with me. Hi, Cardamancy. So I've been taking pictures. So here's the picture. The first picture I'm showing is of the big mass that I have in my intestines on the right side of my body. There's a yellow circle around it on the left. So this is last week. And the picture doesn't really do justice as to how inflamed, how hard, how big. And apparently there are two separate masses going on. There's sort of an abscess, which those of you who know anything about abscesses, it's like there's bacteria and stuff. And it hasn't been draining. I've done a ton of stuff. And then I took a picture last night because I ran some plasma with Rife therapies last night. And you can see it's a lot smaller. And then I took a picture right before I came on live to show you the difference. And for those of you listening to the podcast that can't see the picture, seriously, go look at it on Facebook or YouTube, because you can see there's a lump just in the picture. And then last night you can see it was smaller because things are actually draining, and I'll explain how that process happened. And then today you can see it's way flatter. You guys see that? Put it in the comments for those of you who are watching live if you can actually see it. So I'm going at my health and balance from a few different directions because there's a lot going on. It is a dramatic change. Yeah, someone's saying in the comments it's a dramatic change. It was a huge dramatic change, like 80% reduction in the one area while there at the training on Sunday with Dr. Garcia. I mean, he got so much balance going in my body. I started to detox right then and there, and 80% reduction in the one part. And then the upper part is still detoxing. I can tell you, I feel I am absolutely detoxing today. What does detoxing feel like? Some of you who've had chronic health issues, who've gone to saunas, who've done detox stuff, you know how much fun detox is. And right now, like, I've had an ongoing headache since this morning because I started a new supplement that it helps you to get rid of things in your body. So I started taking that today, or not today, Sunday night. But I took another dose today, and that, with a lot of the other things I'm doing, my body's just like hardcore detoxing. So I have a headache, and I don't want to take any kind of ibuprofen or painkiller because I don't want to add more toxins or chemicals to my body. I want to just go through this and let my body do what it needs to do. Now, as you saw in that picture, I ran more sort of frequency killing using Rife and plasma. That picture that I showed you, and I'll bring it back up on the screen, the light, that purple light you see, it's a plasma Fanatron ball. It's Tesla, Nikola Tesla. Some of you may have seen some in the past, some of his experiments with it, but I have a whole setup that is a frequency generator, and then you run the frequencies specific to what's going on in your body where there's imbalances through the plasma, and the plasma ball absorbs into the skin to get to the root of the problem really fast. And it's very good at what it does. But when you go into detox, you don't feel good. So I don't feel all that great, but I'm all about keeping my word, and the podcast is scheduled to go out tomorrow morning. So here I am. And as you saw, like, it is a dramatic improvement. So biomagnetism therapy has, like I said, been a huge game changer. And the way it works is it balances our pH. When your body's alkalinity is off, if you're either too alkaline or too acidic, your body pH goes off in different areas of the body. And all of us have different areas that go off. And it can happen when you get sick. It can happen when you're eating something you're allergic to, right? Like, we've all experienced headaches. We've all experienced inflammation. Some of us have some big chronic issues or acute issues, and we go and take medication, and maybe it addresses the one problem, but another problem comes up. And that's because your body's pH is way out of balance. And to balance it, you've got to do a few things. And there's great alternative therapies like biomagnetism therapy. And it's not real mainstream, right? It's an energy healing modality, but using high Gauss magnets placed on the body where there's an imbalance. So you would place it in pairs, both positive and negative, in a place where there's an imbalance. And with biomagnetism, we scan hundreds of places on the body. We scan using a very, very accurate muscle testing technique. And your body will show by one leg shortening where the imbalance is. If you specifically ask the body a question, ask the person lying on the table a question, it's going to show you where the imbalance is. And then when you place the magnets properly, suddenly, instead of contracting, like when there's a problem in the body, the one leg will contract. You know that's with the problem area. You place one magnet down, it'll stay contracted till you put the corresponding magnet, creating a biomagnetic pair, which some people know biomagnetism therapy is biomagnetic pair therapy. When you have a pair that actually creates that pH balance, that one leg that contracted suddenly goes right back into balance. And it's amazing how smart the body is. The human body knows where the imbalances are. And with magnets, we're creating flow, blood flow, we're increasing circulation, we're increasing oxygenation, and we're just bringing balance back to that body. And when you have an alkaline environment, when it's the proper pH, the body can heal. And that's how we optimize our health. Pathogens can't survive, or illness, can't survive if we're actually balancing. And it takes a lot. You don't want to keep toxifying your body. I talk a lot about eating properly. And I work with a lot of people that have some big issues, will balance the body out. They'll feel great. And then they'll go eat foods that the body does not want, things that are very toxic, hard to digest, create more issues. Then they got to come back and be balanced again with the magnets. So just in that 4.5-hour session, like I had 111 pairs of magnets placed on me during that session. It was broken up into 2 different segments. So all told, 222 magnets, right? It's a lot of magnets. And it's not like that's the most I've ever heard of, because I actually placed on one person, I think 144 pairs, right? At one time in one session, not at one time, but in one session where I broke it up into 3 different segments. The magnets can get real heavy. But if you balance one place and there's still imbalances and you don't get them, you may take care of one problem of a pH imbalance. And if you don't get all of it, literally you're going to create a bigger imbalance someplace else. And then eventually that place that you did correct, the pH balance goes off again. So to work with someone that is certified as a biomagnetism therapist, and I'm telling you, if you go anywhere to find a therapist, and you're welcome to contact me. I do long distance and in person here in Texas, but there's practitioners all over the place. Go on to drgarciabiomagnetism.com, look up, find a therapist, and you'll be able to find someone that can work on you if you want to be seen in person. I can tell you, I've gotten crazy results with clients long distance, just as if they're on my table. But I've been doing long distance healing for 25 years, right? I'm very comfortable with it as if the person's here. I use a mannequin to place the magnets, and I use the quantum field. And I understand how quantum mechanics, quantum theory, and energy works. So it is just like they're laying down on my table and they're right here, even though they're across the country, across the world. Doesn't matter where anybody is. And it works very much like your cell phone. People ask me this all the time, like, how does long distance healing work? Think about, how does your cell phone work? You have a phone number, but the signal is traveling through the air, right? You don't need to understand exactly how all of those connections are being made through a cell tower, but you have a phone number, which is an identifier. Your body has an identifier. All of us have our own unique, very specific frequency. And so when a healer is focusing on you, they are focusing the energy on your unique frequency. And then if done properly, the healing energy is going to feel just like you were there in person. Some people don't feel anything even when they are in person. Some people just feel very relaxed, like especially with biomagnetism therapy, they feel like they had a great massage, but nobody touched them. That's the great part about it. It just bringing balance to the body actually relaxes you. Over the weekend, I learned so much and added a ton more pairs to test and scan for imbalances in the body, and got to work on a few of the other practitioners because we did breakouts and trainings, and it was just amazing. And it was amazing to watch, even with Dr. Garcia did several demonstrations. It was amazing to watch other people go through equally miraculous changes in their body while on the table. I mean, I can tell you, for me, this is huge. Like, just going from what I was dealing with last week to last night, and you can see the change and feel the change, and then to today. So my digestion has been off so much better. My hydration levels so much better. And I drink a ton of water. I constantly have water all the time. And I literally have felt like I can't get enough water into my system. And balancing different parts of my body throughout the weekend, I finally feel like I'm not only hydrated, but I'm holding that hydration, and my levels of hydration are even higher. So just an update. I didn't share this on the podcast, but I moved a couple weeks ago. I moved my modem router out of my room because I knew I was going to be working on myself with Scalar Energy, which I'll share with you in a minute, and also plasma. My central generator with my plasma ball puts out a ton of energy. I shared a video on Facebook the other day when I first started to run my Scalar and my plasma. And I have a touch lamp next to my bed, and I have set up a whole thing rigged up to hold that plasma over the top of me. And then I also run the Scalar while I'm on my bed as well. We can't see energy usually, right? You can feel the difference, but I shared a video. My touch lamp, when the Scalar went on, different frequencies were cycling, and suddenly the touch lamp's going through the 3 different settings, like night light, medium light, full light, like all on its own. And I'm like, what is happening? So turn the light off, put the Scalar away. That night, I ran plasma. And sure enough, the plasma was putting out such a big energy field. It did the same thing. I was not touching the lamp, but it was making my lamp cycle through. So the waves of energy were hitting that lamp as if something was touching it. I finally unplugged my lamp. It was a great demonstration. For those who don't understand that just because you can't see these energy fields, these energy waves, doesn't mean they don't exist. They absolutely exist. So back to my modem and router. For months now, I've questioned whether or not the EMF frequencies, the harmful ones, radiation, RF signals, and low EMF signals from my modem router, which is super powerful, has added some imbalances to my body to create a decline in my health. 2 years ago, my daughter and son-in-law and granddaughter moved from Seattle, and they moved in with us right before the interest rates took off. They were going to buy a house, and then the interest rates all of a sudden doubled, and then more than doubled, and they were priced out of the market. And the area I live in is a tough market anyways. It's growing, and so they were priced out of the market. So they stayed with us. We did some construction, created this new space for me, which meant I gave up my office, and my room, my bedroom and my office, my home office, became one and the same. I've always had the modem router in my office. Well, now my bedroom's in here, and I'm sleeping 24/7 and working in that energy. I bought a meter last week and tested it, and holy cow, the readings were off the chart. It is now moved downstairs. Since I moved that, my sleep has improved greatly. I'm not having any problems falling asleep. I'm not having any problems staying asleep. Prior to that, massive insomnia. Why does that matter? Because that's going to create imbalances in your body. It's going to throw your pH levels off in different parts of your body. It's going to lower your immune system. Don't believe me? Go look up the research. Just Google effects of EMF, effects of 5G, effects of RF frequencies. You should not be sleeping anywhere near your modem and router. This I know, but I couldn't figure out how to get the whole thing moved because we have Ethernet. We're running off Ethernet, but we also use it for Wi-Fi because everyone in the house has cell phones, iPads, and um, we use Roku, right? It's all run on Wi-Fi. So not only was the signal going out, everybody's signal was coming into my space looking for that Wi-Fi signal. It is now down on a different floor in a different room. And no kidding, my body is now balancing thanks to biomagnetism therapy and also thanks to the use of Rife. So some of you know, used to have a machine, a QXCI SKIO machine that I used to use as bioresonance and biofeedback for years since 2001. I think I had 2 offices in Colorado. And as the years went by, you know, I stopped using it with anyone. I stopped seeing people, close my offices, got busy, went a different direction. But the last year, in the last year or so, that software deactivated. Hi, Angela. So when it deactivated, I went looking for something else because I started to feel icky. I started to feel tired. I started to have more headaches. My digestion was not up to par. And I didn't want to have to invest another 15, 20 grand on another machine. And that one was no longer on the market or available in the US. There was a different one. I'm like, I really don't want to go that route. And I did a bunch of research and ended up finding, after several days, biomagnetism therapy, and then backtraced it to Dr. Garcia, who had amazing testimonials and just amazing results with people finding pH balance in their bodies and restoring their health. Chronic issues, big issues, really big issues. It's amazing what happens when you bring balance back to the body. So I got trained in all of that. And I'd like to say that I worked on myself. Some of you who are healers will understand very clearly what I'm about to say. I would like to say that I worked on myself often and I did full checks on myself and I balanced everything out. I did get my diet cleaned back up. I did start to work out a lot more. I did a lot of things, but I used my training with biomagnetism therapy to help everybody else. And like the shoemaker's kids and the shoemaker himself, I was the last person that got the work done, right? And I let it go and I let it go until it became a problem. And then it became a really big problem because my liver wasn't working properly, was not digesting. After this weekend, I was in tears. I came home Sunday night, pretty worked over. If you've seen some of the pictures that were taken of me holding my certificate with some of the Charm Life girls that are also certified biomagnetism practitioners and attended the advance, I looked worked over. And that's because I was on the table for 4.5 hours. And I came home, took a detox bath, and as I'm in the bathroom, and hold on, because this might be a little TMI, but some of you know, and I'm going to be frank and honest about this. I have had to do several enemas on a weekly basis to keep the detox pathways open with my liver because my liver has been super sluggish and my gallbladder, my spleen, my digestion has just been super sluggish for months. And I've always used that in the past. When I had colon cancer, it was one of the things I had to do, sometimes 6 times a day, in conjunction with doing colon hydrotherapy with ozone when I lived in Colorado. So I'm not a foreigner to it. But you have no idea how, some of you may have an idea, I shouldn't say you have none, how happy I was. I was crying tears of joy when I took my detox bath because I finally, after months, was able to put that enema kit away, knowing I don't have to use it anymore. And I'm right, because my digestion is working just like it should be. And while I do have detox symptoms and a detox headache today, I'm grateful because that just tells me all of this stuff that's in my body that's been imbalanced is in fact coming out of my body and the balance is being restored. But detoxing is not fun. So just know, if you If you're suffering from any kind of imbalance in your body and you want to do the alternative route, you want to go natural, not put more chemicals in your body. Maybe you've even tried the typical allopathic route and you're like, it's just not working. And sometimes it just doesn't. And there's been plenty of times people have come to me and said they don't know what else to do. There's no other options. Okay, don't give up. Look around because there are a ton of alternative treatments or alternative modalities that can help restore that balance. There is how do I explain this to you guys? Eh, For people who don't know what Rife therapy is, Rife is frequency therapy, energy therapy. And there's been so much research done for so many decades on Rife therapy. And what Rife therapy is and why I use it is when you match the frequencies in the body where there is an imbalance, say, you match those frequencies, you get rid of the things that aren't supposed to be there. And it's all done with energy, it's all done with vibrational frequencies. It's non invasive. And while the detox symptoms are going to happen using Rife as well, it's way better than the alternative. So I use Rife as well to create balance, to look like there's ways to do biofeedback where you send frequencies into the body and it reads on the computer and the generator where your body reacted and then send those exact frequencies right back to the body to take care of what's causing the imbalance. So I use Rife for that too. And I use plasma because plasma is great at getting rid of things and not being painful at all. And then Scalar is a whole other ball game. And I talked to you guys about the EE systems, right? Which is Scalar. It's 0 point energy and how much healing can happen with the energy enhancement systems. It's amazing. But I was able to get scalar boxes for my system that can either run standalone or run with my programs through a generator with specific frequencies that I can put into the scalar to create faster healing and improve my health even more. Combining that scalar, plasma, and biomagnetism therapy, oh my gosh, complete game changer. It's a complete game changer. I have the ability to run detox helpers on it as well. And it's taken everything as far as worries concerned and how I feel to this whole other level. I'm able to work. I'm able to get everything done. Maybe not at the pace or speed at which I normally would, but I'm not having to take harmful chemicals. I'm not imbalancing my body trying to create healing, right? By adding chemicals, by adding toxins that my body then later has to detox or that create more imbalances. So I can't tell you enough how much it's important to listen to the wisdom of your body and investigate and research everything that's available to you in order to create optimal health. Your body needs to be in optimal condition. So you've got to create that pH balance. You've got to have the right alkalinity in whatever parts, whatever that level is in different parts. Some parts of your body need to be acidic. Like you don't want your stomach to be hyperalkaline. You got to have stomach acid, right? So there has to be a balance. And when we use the magnets and place them properly to create that balance, the body is wise and your body knows how to heal and how to regenerate. We were created that way. When we take care of our bodies properly, when we do what's necessary to bring that balance back, when sometimes we abuse it with bad food. I'm guilty, right? In the past, like I went off the reservation and ate all kinds of bad food for a long time and then it came back and bit me. And I'm back on my whole food diet. But I even cheated this weekend and boy did I get called out for that because it showed up in my body as a big imbalance and Dr. Garcia had to address it to bring everything back into balance. But when everything does come back into balance, you restore your health. And not only can we use biomagnetism to balance just the pH, like in parts of your body, your brain too. Because when you have a pH imbalance in your brain, even that affects your health in a big, big way. So I urge all of you to look into what's available to you. Become your own health advocate. Ask questions before someone wants to give you a chemical, a toxin, something synthetically manufactured that isn't natural to the body. Ask questions. Ask about side effects. The one thing I can tell you about biomagnetism therapy, Rife Therapy, Scalar, and plasma, there really is no side effects. There's some precautions for sure with the Rife stuff because it is energy frequencies. So if you had like an implant of some sort, an electrical implant somewhere in your body, you got to be very, very careful. But I placed magnets on someone who had, and he's like 82 years old. He had some sort of a nerve stimulator implant in his back. And I scanned and asked his body if it was okay to place magnets around it, and literally got a yes. So I asked again, can I place magnets on it? Because he said since I put that in, it hasn't done anything. Like it's supposed to get his nerves stimulated in a certain way to relieve his pain. It wasn't doing anything. By the time we were done with all the magnet placements on him, he was out of pain. So I was able to place, even though he had that electronic stimulator in there, but I asked. Now, I don't know if it's just not putting out frequencies. It's like a rechargeable device. He puts something on it at night to recharge it. I don't understand how it works. But like he said, they put it in there and it's surgically implanted. It's not working. But the magnets worked. Why? Because the magnets created proper alkalinity, proper blood flow. When the body has what it needs to be in a state of health, now everything can flow. So you no longer have that inflammation. You no longer have the pain. You no longer have a dysfunction in different areas of your body, whether it's your kidneys, your liver, your gallbladder, your whatever, right? You just bring the balance back. And it's amazing how fast it happens. So that's where I'm at today. Thankful that I have found biomagnetism therapy. I'm now an advanced practitioner. And I mean, I've been doing it, the magnets now since 2022, but just got my advanced certificate. Super excited about that and learned a ton. And for some of the people that I have recommended biomagnetism therapy to, I want you to know, several of my clients and some of my students have learned that modality now because they themselves experienced big breakthroughs in their health by having a session done. And so they learned it. I got to spend 3 days with 3 amazing Charm Life women that are healers as well. And we all get to exchange information as we move forward in this journey. And we were like a fire hose, downloaded a whole bunch of new information because it's dynamic and it's changing. And biomagnetism therapy is on the cutting edge right now. All of these alternative therapies, while they're not all new because biomagnetism's been around for more than a decade, Rife Therapy's been around for several decades, right? Plasma, Nikola Tesla was playing with plasma. And this stuff's been around a very, very long time, but it has been buried, right, by the powers that be. And if you want to learn it just for your own family, for your own health, you can. You can go either in person. Dr. Garcia has a level 1 and level 2 training coming up. I think it's in March or April. And you can find out about that by going to drgarciabiomagnetism.com. Or you can take his online class. I like both because I did online training, the first one, but I have been an alternative health practitioner for many years. So I know the anatomy, I know how everything works and how the connections in the body works. So I think doing that way was easy for me to be able to jump right in and get going. But if you're someone that needs hands-on, go to the in-person. You will not be sorry. And If you're already a biomagnetism practitioner and you're questioning whether or not you should do the advanced, I'm here to tell you, you need to do it. I'm going to do it again. Even though I just went through it, I know the next time it's going to be more new information. Again, this is on the cutting edge, which means it's dynamic, it's changing, it's growing. New things are being discovered every day. So I want to stay up to date. And I always put my education and my learning and continually staying up to date on things on the forefront. But if you're a healer and you're looking to add something that really works fast and is accurate and amazing to bring balance for your clients, go look it up. I'm not getting paid for this. Like I don't get anything from telling y'all, like, go learn biomagnetism therapy. I can tell you I've used it on my dad, who has been in renal failure, stage 3. They told us that we couldn't improve his numbers, his GFR numbers and all that stuff. Yeah, we have. And I used it with him. He had some prostate stuff going on. They wanted to put him on medication. I'm like, before you take that pill, can I put some magnets on to see if we can just balance that area and what happens? Let's just play with it before you take the medicine. And he did. And lo and behold, he hasn't had to take the medicine. Everything returned to normal. So didn't have to add another medication. And here's the deal. We know side effect wise why he's having kidney problems. It's because of the blood pressure medication he's on, and he has AFib. So they put him on blood thinners. And ever since they put him on an extra blood pressure and blood thinner medication, it's been compromising his kidney function. And so the next step, and he's all on board because he's watching what's happening in my body too, to get off the medications, just get control of his blood pressure, get his diet back under control. I mean, he's fairly good, but he's been cheating a lot off of what I normally recommend for him. But he does want to get off the medications because when your kidneys are gone, the next step is dialysis, right? It's just the way it goes. And he's too old to get a transplant. They will not give an 82-year-old man a transplant, kidney transplant. And my cousin had a kidney transplant and he still died because his body rejected the transplant. I recommend to everybody, take control of your health now. Create the balance that your body needs in order to create health, to create alkalinity so that your body can heal. We have so much capability within our own immune system when we are balanced with the pH, when our energy is balanced, when our emotions aren't all over the place, when we're not all stressed out. We have the ability to heal ourselves. That's what we were created to do. Sometimes we need help. And we live in a toxic soup, right? There's chemicals in our food. There's chemicals in the water. We're breathing in chemicals. Now we've got invisible Wi-Fi signals and EMF and all the stuff. But you can still take control of it and do what's necessary to maintain the balance. For me, it's well worth keeping my body healthy, but also my family. And I can't tell you specifically, I don't want to share specifics about what stuff that we worked on with them. But I can tell you some amazing breakthroughs have happened for my family. And like I said, with my dad, he didn't have to take that new medication. And everything's working just fine. So, and his blood pressure has gotten way better since he sat in the scalar. He did some overnights with me at the EE system, and his blood pressure came down tremendously, and it's stayed pretty level since then. So I recommend the EE system too. For those of you who don't know what that is, it is the energy enhancement system. There's over 300 and something, I think, locations right now. There's some changes being made as well. If you can get into an EE system and you experience any kind of brain fog, or even if you just want to get your stress levels in order, bring balance to your body, I say get into an EE system. I've spent over 100 something hours in the EE system. Now I have a scalar unit that I can do at home. And I've been sleeping in the Scalar Energy, which is 0-point clean energy, holds your body frequency high. When your body frequency is high, you stay healthy. There's a book I would recommend to everybody if you don't understand how energy works or energy healing works or vibration. Dr. Jerry Tennant, who was one of the contributors in the past modality that I used to use with the QXCI and SKIO, Dr. Jerry Tennant has been studying frequencies for years, has been using biofeedback, bioresonance, Rife, and all of that for years. And he's got a couple books out, but the one that I would recommend anyone read if you want to really understand how frequency affects your body, energy frequency, and that each one of your organs has its own energetic vibration. Go read the book, and you can get it on Amazon. Healing is voltage. Like, it's all about what is your voltage. There was something I read in one of his things, like he said he's never seen a cancer patient who has a voltage, a cell voltage above 30. And when you realize that the things you do to your body, eat, stress, think, put medicines in, and it lowers the voltage of your cells and you're actually creating health issues, you really want to understand so that you can get a hold of it. Biomagnetism can help with the cell voltage, because you're oxygenating the cell, because you're bringing alkalinity to the cell, right? The tissues. So can Rife, and so can these other things. I actually think, because I've gotten, let's just say, faster results with what I currently have going on with biomagnetism. And to me, the Rife is cleaning everything up. It's like really just getting the other things and cleaning it up, using them in conjunction together with scalar and plasma. It's just moving things super fast, just super fast. I have an appointment with my doctor on Thursday, so I'll be very curious to see what he says. I don't think we're doing any tests or anything like that on Thursday. I'm sure he'll be very excited. I've shared biomagnetism with him, and he isn't exactly on board with all of the recent healthcare mandates and changes either. And he looks to be as natural as possible. So I think sharing with him what's been going on with me, and then showing him the pictures, and he himself can feel for the difference, I think it will help shift another doctor. There's a lot of doctors and nurses that were at our training that are looking for new ways to handle the imbalances in the body, because medications are just putting band-aids on things, and sometimes they create more issues because you're not addressing the imbalance. You're not addressing what caused the imbalance, right? Fix the imbalance and health returns. So I hope that you guys learned something in today's episode of the Gold Factor podcast. If you're interested in learning more, you can go right to my website, www.bernadettegold.com. Click on the biomagnetism page. You can click on my supplements page from there if you want to look up some of my recommended supplements to create more health, to create detox, and to assist your body in finding balance. I'd be more than happy to assist with that. If you want to book a session with me, we can talk about it. You can either email me from and through my website, or look me up on Facebook, The Gold Factor, and send me a private message, and I will show you how you can book in with me from there. That's it for us today. Next week, I have a special interview with one of our Charm Life girls who just had amazing breakthroughs when she was in Charm Life. And she also is the one, which is why I want to share her story, Megan. She's the one that did last week's podcast and the book wrap up. I interviewed Megan, and we talked a lot about what she went through to heal her past, to break through her money issues, and to even address some of the fears surrounding her own health issues. Her story is pretty amazing, the things that she was able to create, and I want to share that with you. So make sure that you follow the podcast, or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you hit that follow and notification button so that you see as soon as it pops up. I am very grateful for you, and I hope that you've learned something that will help you take your life, your health, your mindset from the ordinary into the extraordinary. Be blessed and be a blessing.